I want to talk about the Lumix GH5 versus the Canon 5D Mark IV. Now, neither of these products has been announced yet, so this is total speculation. So if this is months in the future when you're watching this, it's July right now. If this is many months in the future, don't watch this video. It's probably old news. And if you're not interested in my speculation and just talking about cameras that don't even technically exist yet, then don't watch this video either. It's just me kind of talking about my expectations for both of these cameras and what I think is likely going to happen with each of them and what I'm looking forward to, because these are going to be fairly big announcements, I'm pretty sure. The 5D has been a very popular line of cameras, as have the GH cameras. So I think this is a nice comparison to make, since these cameras are both going to be hopefully cutting edge technology and will likely offer some substantial upgrades from what's currently on the market. Now, let's first talk about the GH5. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I love the GH4. It does have a few drawbacks, and there are some other cameras that offer better features in some areas. But I think overall, the GH4 is a fantastic camera and one of the best in recent memory for its price range. Now, the GH5, I've talked about kind of my realistic expectations in another video for the GH5, but I don't think it's going to be as big of an upgrade over the GH4 as some people will hope. What I do think is that it will offer some mild improvements, maybe a bump in resolution, maybe to 6K. That's what people have been talking about. But even if it's probably going to stay at 4K, well, who knows? We'll see. It's likely that the sensor isn't going to change too much. It's just only going to have a little bit better processing built into the camera. And we might see a few bells and whistles like Vlog built in, but really, I'm not expecting too much. Maybe some other frame rate options, but I don't think anything that's going to blow everyone away. Certainly not a bigger sensor size, even though I wish that were the case. It's probably not going to happen. So a mild upgrade. Now, for the 5D Mark III that we currently have, the upgrade to the 5D Mark IV could be more substantial. A lot of people are talking about the 5D Mark IV going to 4K. I think that's likely going to happen. I think Canon is finally playing catch up in the market. We'll see if the quality, once the camera comes out, is actually good. You know, not all 4K is created equal, just like not all 1080 is created equal. As I've shown in other videos, the 5D Mark III isn't even a 1080p camera. I know it says it's 1080p, but you can go watch my other videos. It's not. So we'll see if the 4K is actually worth it, but I suspect that it will be. And there'll probably be some other nice features like better low light, more frame rate options, etc., etc., etc. The biggest difference, I think, between these two cameras is going to come down to the sensor size. And for me, that is a big deal. I know a lot of people like the smaller sensor size of micro four thirds, and that's great. Me personally, you can combat it a little bit, get Super 35 with a speed booster, you know, kind of make that quasi APS-C Super 35 format, but that takes additional resources and money to buy a Metabone speed booster, add it to the camera, makes the price go up. Not ideal because you have just more glass in general. So the GH5, is it going to be better than the 5D Mark IV? For me, probably not. We'll see what Panasonic does with the GH5, but I'm thinking that this might be a turning point where I'm swung towards Canon, and there's a big reason for that. Not just the sensor size, but also the photographic quality of the camera. Both of these cameras are hybrids, and I think it can be easy to think of them as primarily stronger in one area or the other, specifically the GH4 currently being stronger in video than photo, and the 5D Mark III, the current camera, being stronger for photographs as compared to the video features. The video features in the 5D Mark III are kind of dated now. Right now, though, I use a GH4 for video work, but I use a 5D Mark III for photo work. And that's because the photos on the 5D Mark III are better than the photos from the GH4. That doesn't mean the GH4 photos are bad. It's just you get better ones with the 5D Mark III, in my opinion, I think. I like full frame offers some benefits that I really like. So looking at the GH5, looking to the 5D Mark IV, the biggest difference between these, I think, is going to come down to the photo side, which is interesting for me because I focus primarily on video and video production. But if both cameras are offering 4K now, and they're both offering maybe similar dynamic ranges, maybe both having log picture profiles, maybe both having similar frame rate options, the big difference is going to be sensor size as well as the photo side. Now, I do like the mirrorless aspect of the GH5. I assume it'll still be mirrorless. I can't imagine they'll add a mirror back in. And I imagine the 5D Mark IV will still contain a mirror, so the lenses, lens selection won't be quite as adaptable. But aside from that, I think I would lean towards the 5D Mark IV just for the photographic capabilities. Now, if they botch the video side, that's a whole nother story. Then it likely will be the GH5 as the strong contender, because the photos I expect from the GH5, they still will be good. But I highly doubt the low light's going to be as good. It's probably going to be a lot noisier images, not as wide of a field of view, not as shallow a depth of field that you can get with full frame stuff. So there are some benefits there for the 5D. Now, price-wise, it's probably going to be similar to the price breakdown now, right? The GH4 is about half the cost of a 5D Mark III. I suspect it'll be a similar cost ratio between the 5D Mark IV and the GH5. But if you can get high quality video in the 5D Mark IV and you can get the high quality photos that you probably aren't going to, it's not going to be as close with the GH5, then, maybe it's worth it. So you don't have to have two cameras, one for video, one for photo. Now, maybe it's the GH5 is the option because the video features are amazing, and maybe the upgrade to the 5D Mark IV isn't that substantial in terms of the photographic quality. So maybe 5D Mark IIIs will be a great option for just taking high quality photos. There's nothing really wrong with those photos currently, in my opinion, but we'll see. New features come out and all of a sudden the old stuff doesn't look as good for whatever reason. Maybe, technology advances. So we'll see, but it's going to be an interesting battle because I think the Canon guys are going to like the 5D Mark IV and the Lumix guys are going to like the GH5, but once we know a few more specifics, it might be a clearer or blurrier distinction between the two cameras. Funny how the video side on Canon is finally catching back up. And I almost don't want to go to Canon because I don't really like how they've treated the video side of their quality. So there is a little bit of that resentment, I think, that I have personally towards their brand and makes me more favorable towards Lumix. But at the end of the day, you got to go with what makes the most sense financially and for the quality that you can get out of the camera. And we'll see how it all pans out. But right now, I think it's going to be a pretty close race, actually, which compared, the GH4 compared to the 5D Mark III, there's no question in my mind what I would use for video. GH4, 100%. And there's no question in my mind what I would use for photo. 5D Mark III, 100%. So to see them kind of merge, that's their trajectory currently, is that they'll become a little bit closer spec-wise. Canon will finally catch up for video. And maybe, the Lumix GH5, maybe that'll actually catch up in terms of photo quality. So we'll see. Once more of this information comes out, I'll be able to draw a little bit better of a conclusion. I hope you didn't watch all this and now you're just upset because it was all speculation. I warned you at the beginning it was going to be all speculation. So I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have any leanings one way or the other as to which you're currently preferring. I like, just to throw in another oddball into the mix, I like what Sony has been doing. The form factor, and there are certain problems with the A7 cameras that I personally have against those cameras, just battery life, overheating, ergonomics, screen. There's some stuff that's really annoying about those cameras. I like to rent them when the project calls for it, but as a camera that I love and I just want in my bag all the time, it just has never been those A7 cameras. I think the 5D Mark IV or the GH5 could take that place in my bag, replacing what I currently have.